Good evening, folks. Good evening, all. Good evening, Clyde. How are you today? Let's see. Tonight, yet another build. This will be 27. Assembling the final components. Should take me just about the time of the show to put everything in. We'll begin, as always, with the fan. And speaking of fans, thank you all for coming. Always appreciated. If I could find where I put my screwdriver. There we go. And in fact, every other tool that I have. So, let's see here. Just can't see behind me here, but or can you? Oh yeah, I guess you can a little bit. I've got my wonderful assortment of stuff, and I'm trying to find. I just finished restocking it, and I don't remember where I put the little. Well, I'll just use one of these. The handoffs. Hey, Dave, how's it going? Good to see you here. All righty. No dexterity today. I've been organizing stuff from the trailer, so I've physically, I'm a bit on the exhausted side. But there we go. So how's everybody doing tonight? And what are you guys up to? Somebody today was saying that the coronavirus was obviously it's not, but how do you guys feel? Does it feel like the danger is past? Does it feel like there was never a danger? Let me know. I am going to put in the inserts on the side. Let me lower this so you guys can see a little better over here. Sometimes I do it with the old Allen wrench manually. Sometimes I do it with the. Actually, I wonder if I have the. The automatic one. Yeah, exactly. What's coronavirus? Sure enough, I think I have it. Oh, yeah. maximum it is. I'm going to have to hand tighten them after. Either that or go to the other room and get my other drill, and I'm not in the mood. So I'm just relaxing here as best I can. So come on, guys, a little feedback. What are you interested in? What kind of story should I tell you today? Excuse me. Yeah, I agree. The pandemic opened our eyes about what's made here and what's not. By the way, this product is 100% assembled in the USA. Just saying. Assembled. There's no such thing as 100% made anymore. Or very few, anyway. How are you, Bobby? How's it going? North Carolina. So, okay. I hope this drill has enough juice, because if not, I am going to have to swap over to the other one. Okay, there we go. We're good. All the way from North Carolina. Well, welcome from North Carolina. See, we here down in the deep South. How many comments am I going to get about that one? Because, you know, Florida is the deep South. Okay. I know it around here, and now I can't find it. Must have been in... Oh, I know. It wasn't in a deep box. It was in a light. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Only temper. Oh, yeah. That's not good. Okay. You know, I'm not paying attention. Today I'm going to be probably making a few mistakes. Not in the electronics part, because that's all done and that's all minor, but see this is a spacer block. I call it a spacer block. I mount the board on it, and I mount the motors on it. These things, the fans. And so as such, I have to mount these things before I actually mount the spacer block down. I don't have to, but if you've ever tried to screw in a screw with no space and only a quarter inch of against the wall. Yeah, it's that's not happening. I need an offset screwdriver and whatnots. Thank you all once again for coming in, giving me some views. It's greatly appreciated, as always. How are you, Russ? Okay, so everything's good here. Screw this in. This is my first step, and I'll show it to you in a second what my first step is. Well, can't do that yet. Okay. My first step, step one of the hobby box. Just so you guys, in case you ever want to buy one or you have one, you know, I mount the fans. This is the first part. I'll wire them up afterwards, but basically I got this fan wired up, these two wired up to this board, this little plate. This is where the controller board will go. Here's a little spot for the a little divot for the, well, it's not in yet, the power plug. And then you got the this handy dandy little notch is for the, hold that thought, for this little board here. This little board has the solder things on it, and I want to make sure to always so it's basically mounted on like the other board. It's mounted on here, and this is the power supply, and I don't have to worry about the pins getting jammed or anything like that. So that is that. Next step is wiring the power supply. But before I do that, I got to finish putting this switch on. So let's start, shall we? How's it going, William? Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. A movie of me running boxes on my CNC. Yeah. When I get back home, what I'll do is I will. I've started to make some videos on it, but it's difficult because I've been playing catch up, as you can see. Just when I'm all caught up, I get more orders, which I guess it's a good thing for you guys, but well, it is what it is. Okay. Let's get the plug here. I might, between today and Friday, I might build myself a tiny, as you can see, I got against the wall here. There's the wall at the end, and I've got enough space that I can actually put something like a tool holder kind of thing. That way I don't have to have everything in a box and stuff like that, similar to this, but for tools. I usually have whatever I need right here, but okay, now this is the one thing I have to check on these things, because there are, and this one seems to be correct. Let me double check. Yeah, this one's correct. The lighted, this is a lighted switch, and the power. So you got the three, the ground, the power, and the hot for the switch. And what I do is I put the hot, you have to wire it, you have to jump it over to the switch. So I have to take it from the source to the switch for the hot and the neutral. For the ground, it's just straight wires into the thing. Problem is, some of these switches are backwards. On is to the left, on is to the right. And some of these switches are wired backwards as far as the light is concerned. It's not always on the same side. So I have to look real carefully to see they have a soldered wire with a resistor on one of the terminals. So whichever terminal that is, that's we'll call it the output. And if I wired it where the plug goes straight to that one, then the switch will work fine no matter what. But then the light will always be on, and that doesn't really make much sense for a lighted switch. Just saying. Jeff, you read my mind a couple days ago. Yeah, both of you, and sorry, Clyde, you read my mind. Yeah, the couple days ago, I decided here's what I was going to do as far as the toolbox, and I appreciate everybody's input. If anybody has any more ideas, send them my way, because I'm just going to slap this together next week. I don't have my CNC here, so I'm not going to do anything fancy, but I do have a table saw, so I will, and I've got plenty of wood. So what I'll do is I'm basically going to build an L shape, with a couple of triangles or to supports on the side, and then coming out of the basically shelves, but the shelves will be angled this way, because as I was talking to Dave, and I was telling him, I could easily put something like holes and drop the tools in, and then I take them up and stuff, but I don't like going like this to have to reach something. I'd rather have it right up, just like handy, and I don't have to look for searching for holes and stuff. So it'd be perfect. Most of these tools, are magnetic, or rather ferrous. So what I'll do is do the angle, screw in one of those Harbor Freight magnets. I have one or two lying around somewhere around there, and excuse me, and then from there, just take it and get it, and that'll come in handy. And then what I'll do is I'll have another couple of shelves. I'll probably put them at 90 degrees, so I could just at the bottom, so I could have stuff like say the glue gun, and this one is very difficult to get a magnetic lock on, so things like that. Hey, Matt, how's it going? If I'd have known you were coming, I would have done this through StreamYard and invited you in. But I guess I was trying to save my StreamYard points. I think I have like half an hour left on StreamYard. So I figured, well, it turns over tomorrow or the day after. So Friday, I get a whole new 20 hours. So if you're around Friday, I'll be happy to have you come in the chat. Let's see. Where did I put my... Okay, so this is ready to go. I have to insert it in first. And of course, it helps if I insert it in upside up. Well, not that it matters. I mean, the switch is left to right and the power is left to right, but I like the power underneath the switch as opposed to on top. So, call me crazy. Okay, I'm crazy. There we go. That's the last of the assemblies there. And I do need my glue gun now. I like to lock that into place with the glue gun. And there's a couple other connections that I'll need that for as well. So we have our panel. Let's go ahead and start connecting our cables. First and foremost, the power supply. And for this, I don't like to use for this is my favorite tool right here. The old Craftsman. You recognize, that's a thing of beauty, isn't it? That was a wonderful design. It grew up with this tool. Good old 41295. Whatever. It's a P2 and it's a Craftsman. And it's just got the most comfortable fit when it comes to this. And you have a very I mean, this is they make so many different style screws these days. You can't call them Phillips anymore. Now there's Phillips with square Phillips. There's size 0, size 1, size 2, and then you can't just say, "Oh, hand me a Phillips screwdriver" anymore, because there's 2 or 3 different standards with Phillips, and it drives me nuts because I like this on this old terminal screws are like perfect fit. So much so that I could just, I could put it on here and look at that. Is that screw is loose. That's a perfect fit. That's snug. Well, anyway. I wish they were all that way, but can't even get that from Torx. So anyway, that's why I like this tool for this, the right tool for the right job, as Commander Scott would say, and many others. Evening, Troy. How are you? Oh, good to know. Power came back. That's I hate it when it goes out. That gets annoying real fast. All right. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. So the other day, for all of you Star Trek fans out there, the other day I was watching an interview with I forgot these guys' names. They're not the type of person I would not the type of celebrity I would watch, but there's these 2 guys that are Broadway type enthusiasts, and they interview actors on YouTube, and I came across, and they had the cast of Star Trek, Voyager. And that was a fascinating interview. I mean, I guess it was an interview. Yeah. It was really nice. You saw everybody without their makeup, well, not everybody. It was Robert Picardo, the doctor on Voyager, Kate Mulgrew, the captain, obviously, Tim Russ, you saw him with, as he is now, at Vulcan, Tuvok. Hey, Jim, how's it going? Let's see who else was there. Neelix was there. Ethan Phillips, completely without makeup. Jerry Ryan, that was 7 of 9. She was there, and she's in the new Picard series. I've yet to catch up. I've only seen 2 episodes of the first season, so I'm really looking forward to catching up on that front. But yeah, everybody's been. Let's see, who else was there? Roxana Dawson. That was Torres, the Vulcan. I mean the half Klingon. Then Robbie. Uh, uh, that was oh my god, my names are failing me. It's um, both the ensign and the lieutenant. Oh my god, my mind went blank. Garrett, which is the again, it went blank. Matt, you'll know. And then let's see who else was there. And there was, and of course, Chakotay, which is Robert Beltran, was there. Robbie, forgot his last name. And I forgot his character name. But I haven't seen Voyager in a bit, so. All right, so here we go. We got. Tell me I've got some wired up plugs for this, because that would be nice. And it would be, where would it be if I have them? Not in this one. Oh, not in this one. Gotta be this one. Ugh. Not in this one. Not the mama. Okay, here we go. How many of you guys remember that old? Well, it's not that old, but that wonderful show. Not the mama. I had a friend of mine. Have a friend of mine. Friend of mine works at NASA. He lost it every time that character said, "Not the mama." It was okay. Here we go. We have our connectors, and now I always got to do this to double check. Yep, black and red. Always, cut once, measure twice, whatever. Let's see here. So that not the mama is the character was it was the baby dinosaur on Dinosaurs. He would always give that father dinosaur a whack in the face with something. It's funny. It's reminds me a little bit of Stewie on. Not that I watch that show that much anymore. I used to watch it in the beginning. Family Guy. When Jim was in school, they asked him to be an astronaut because all he did was take up space. That's good. It's quite good. So, what's the weirdest thing you guys have run across COVID-19 wise? What's the strangest thing that you guys have seen or heard or funny? Cousin was considered for the space shuttle mission years ago. They rejected him because he smoked cigarettes. Yeah, that would definitely do it. I can understand that. Let's see here. There's V minus. Now we connect V plus on 2 of these. This is the high voltage side that I'm connecting at the moment. Hey, Marcosaurus, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm just chilling here. I'd invite you over, but I'm on the YouTube instead of the StreamYard today. Friday I'll be back on the yard. Let's see here. Next, this one, and this one. I'm just connecting some more JaviBoxes by the end of the show. It takes me about an hour and a half. Well, maybe a little bit more, but it takes me about this amount of time. Once all the connections are soldered, and it's just a matter of assembling all the parts in the box, it's about an hour and a half. Well, that's not true. It's about 45 minutes, but with me chatting and stopping and with you guys, it's an hour and a half. So there is a difference. And telling the occasional story or anecdote or whatnot. Let me put this one down. Yeah, Bureau of Land Management and Early Deployment Liaison. I've never heard EDL before. I know BLM's lands are. I hear a lot from all my videos. All the YouTube videos on RVs. So many people talk about, oh, well, there's so many lands that are free to park in. You can park on any BLM land and this and that. Well, I don't live in that part of the country, so I can't tell you. We don't have BLM in Florida. I think that's Arizona and some other places, or where is that? Trying to take over the world. Yeah, I came across in my news feeds, in my YouTube suggested. When I get out here, I get to watch a little more. I'm very busy at home between work and home and to-do lists and JaviBoxes. I rarely get a free moment. And so I got some suggested YouTube videos, and one of them was a TED Talk made, I think it was 6 months ago, by Rob Paulson, the voice of Yakko, and a few others, and on voice lessons. I always like hearing him speak like Yakko, and 9 times out of 10, somebody will ask him to do the countries and stuff, so that's always fun too. All right, now I will need. It's over here. Let's go. What colors shall we use? Let's use red and black. That makes sense. Let's see. And we shall need 2 of them. Let's use blue and yellow. That'd be better. We have a bunch of red and black already, and I don't want to confuse anything. Wow. Uh-huh. That one. Huh. Sorry. Bundle of wires that was soldered together. That's an interesting thing there. All right, here we go. Got my 2 wires. I got my other 2 wires. This is for the power supplies. Neighbors planting flowers at 5 miles away. There's lightning. Yeah, that'd be interesting. How often do you use those puck lights you installed under the x-axis? Ha! That's a good question. The famous puck lights. I mean, I haven't seen Mark's answer yet, but I would expect that when you turn the machine on, the lights are on. Or do you have it wired separately? Every time I use the CNC, Troy, so that's probably the case. So for those of you that tuned in last time, my arcade's over here, and I had a blast showing it to you guys. And every now and then, when I have time, I'll play an occasional game. It's funny because it's not like when you're young. When you're young, every waking moment, you know, you're out with your friends, you go to the arcade, and I'm going to play some Robotron or whatever, and you're lost for. I remember getting lost for an hour on one of those machines, and well, it's certainly not that way now, not in the slightest. I have a nice light rain in the background here. We've got some. It was supposed to be raining all weekend because of Cristobal. But who knows? Who knows? Who indeed knows? Or as the fourth Doctor was fond of saying, who knows? Let's see here. Okay. I just had to stop to put that thing in. The glue. Okay, so I've got this wired, I got this wired, I got this wired. Okay, so now that I've wired all the cables for the power supply, I'm going to go and... Hello, folks. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to set the power supply in place. Okay. See, this is a good... Look at that. Now that's a good tool that I ordered from the Amazon. It holds the bit perfectly snug, just like the other one. So I like that. Always verify that, see, already, always verify that this is set for 110 because 220 is just not going to work for me. There we go. That'd be a better idea. 110, you know. Sometimes they set them to 220. Sometimes they set them to 110. You never know. You never know. And always make sure all your connections, particularly your crimp-on connections, are tight, because this one apparently has gotten away. Yeah, it's pouring rain out there today. Have a good one, Mark. Yep, it's dinner. Always dinner at Mark's house. Yeah, that ain't going anywhere now. Yeah, once it's in place, this thing doesn't have a problem. But every now and then, with me moving it around and tugging it and stuff, that's why I try to have this all set up so nobody has to touch it. Because when people start, I don't want to say fiddling with it, because nobody really fiddles with it, but when they start, let's say they take it apart for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe they want to paint it or something, and so they take all the pieces out, they put them back together, and all of a sudden some wires come loose. That's bound to happen, because these wires are not meant to be moved. There we go. There's a solid thing here. Now, we shall take our yellow and our, where's our blue? There's our blue. The routing of the wires is important as well. Evening, Wilson. How's it going? All righty. One of these will be cut shorter, because I only need that much space. Boink. Two of these, actually, the yellow and the black. And that'll be for the next one. All right. So now the one thing I have to do when I turn this on, and I'm going to have to turn it on now before I continue wiring it, because, oh, let's see. Did I see your email asking me about the 3-pin DIN cable? No, I will. That would be the, okay. No, I didn't see it. Let me take a look real quick, because depending on your question, there's a different answer. Okay, let me explain how the 3-pin works for the spindle. There is a spindle. There are two options to control your spindle on my website. One is the manual spindle controller. Did I spindle cable on there? I guess I gotta take a look. But the spindle cable is not just a spindle cable. It has a relay in line because in order to control the spindle from the hobby box, you need two things. Number one is you need 0 to 10 volts to control the speed. That comes from this plug, from the you don't see where I'm pointing, from the 3-pin plug, which you'll get in the cable in the spindle hobby box spindle cable kit. And then the second thing is you connect to output number 1, which connects a relay, so your spindle can turn on and off. And it's all wired. I mean, I've got the connections labeled where you should wire each one. The other option is the manual spindle controller, which you can connect the switch. It basically has a switch and a speed control, and you control it remotely, but you control it manually as opposed to this thing controlling it. And you can have a combination of both if you want. You can. I'm considering making a new one because my preferred choice is the spindle manually controlled, but the on-off controlled by the hobby box. The problem is the on-off, this is 24 volts on and off, and that is a switch, a contact, a normally open contact. So thus, a 24 relay is involved in the manufacture of this cable. So it's not just a simple 3-wire cable and you're done. I wish it was. All right, so I've got my input, but I don't know if that answers your question, but I will endeavor to get to my email soon as I can these last couple days with, let's just say, I guess I can call it a stomach flu because I can't think of any other thing to call it. So needless to say, I've been a bit under the weather the last couple days. And I've got a lot to do out here, so I'll try to get to the email as soon as I can. I would say contact me through Messenger, but I block most of my. For those of you trying to reach me through Messenger, I block most of my Messenger because if it's not a valid comment, a lot of people like to send me good thoughts or good things, or I heard this or a joke or this and that, and I appreciate the sentiment, but don't bother because all that does is get you ignored, and then I'll never know when you're sending me something. So, there are certain forms of media that I just don't use on a regular basis. I answer my forms through email, and if somebody, this is my process. I'll check email once or twice a week. If somebody asks me a question, especially a customer's come first. If a customer asks me a question, I'll immediately answer it as soon as I read it. If somebody asks me a question about how to wire their machine, and it's not a customer, I basically send them the old blanket response. Hey, come and ask your question here, because I'll be happy to answer it while I'm building, while I'm talking. In fact, if you have a specific question, ask it here. I'll be happy to answer it. My time is yours right now. If somebody asks me a question that somebody else has already asked me before, it's likely to be on my frequently asked questions, and I'll probably be very quick. See, frequently asked question number, boom, and I send them out there because they, I'm not going to explain myself 200 times for the same thing. Okay, here we go. The next one shall be the other one. This will be the 12-volt supply. Oh, let me read on here. Yeah, it it occurred to me that it might be Jim. It's just stomach, and but 15% of the cases, that's what it is. It's a mild case, and it's gastrointestinal, as it were. And if that's the case, that's the case, and good, I got it. How nice, I was I was I was listening to the governor, uh, who he's a good guy. I was listening to the governor, and he was basically expressing the facts. And yes, I double checked them just to make sure. 85% of the cases in Florida, and it's probably the same around the country. Hey, Migs, how's it going? 85% of the cases of COVID are 65 and older. Of the deaths, I'm talking deaths, not cases. Out of 1 million people tested, 85% of the deaths from birth to 18 years old. Guess what the number is? Guess how many deaths from birth to 18 years old? Would it surprise you that the number is 0? There are no deaths up until the age of 8, which makes, perfect sense. I mean, I hate to say it, but no, I don't hate to say it. I'll say it, and I don't care if anybody has an opinion one way or the other on it, but the media from the start has blown this frickin' thing out of proportion. I am terribly sorry, and I do feel for the people who have, died, and I understand the severity of it. I do not make light of that. But the bottom line is, if we wouldn't have known about this from the mass media, there wouldn't have been the mass hysteria. But that's all I'll say about that. Okay, so let's see. Back to this thing. Migs, I'd invite you on, but I'm not on StreamYard today, but I will be Friday. So if you want to join me Friday for a nice little soldering session. Let's see here. Yeah, the 11-layer lasagna. Hang on a second. Let me scroll back because read these things in order because I'm a little behind or whatever. Let's see. Good evening. Did I see my email? What happened with the murder hornets? I feel like we skipped over the murder hornets. Yeah, I lost. I guess they had other news that was more interesting, and so they dropped the murder hornets. Let's see. No, William, no spindle. I do not include any spindle or router attachments whatsoever in the kit because some people have a spindle, some people have a router. They can, if they choose, they can wire it their own way. It's a simple 3-pin adapter, but they're not going to know how to wire it. So and it costs time and extra parts to wire it. So I'm not going to be giving everybody a spindle cable when not everybody has it. So those are accessories, just like the router box, just like the e-stop, the limit switches. All those things are basically, they're all, people can choose to have them. People can choose not to have them. People they can choose to make up themselves. That's I don't have an issue with that at all. Oh, absolutely. So there is no spindle or anything connection in the kit unless you've ordered it and I overlooked it separately, but I'll take a look at that. Let's see. The organization for the well, wait a second. I'm still back over here. Hang on. Do I tin the wires? Yes and no. I tin some of the wires. Any wires going into these connections? No. You will find, number one, tinned wires have, I mean, I have on occasion, but you're better off not tinning copper wires going into these little terminal screws. Bottom line is, I tin wires when they're gonna be attached to other wires, and well, really, I solder wires, but and I tin them when I put them on aviation connectors. That's a must. You have to do that. So that's when I tin the wires. For these connectors, I don't want to say never because I have, but never, never again. Because number one, they tend to make a worse contact. There's nothing better than copper direct to these things, as opposed to tinning a wire, and you're gonna get, depending on the solder, you're going through the solder. Not that it matters with this kind of voltage, but the big reason is they slip out. You crank them down and you squeeze the solder. The solder is soft, it's malleable, and after time, it'll work its way loose, and then you get loose wires. Number one. Number two, sometimes you tin the wire and you have a little extra solder and you don't realize it, but you're tightening the solder on and you bend it and it breaks. And I've had that happen to me. So yeah, yes and no. That's the answer to, do I tin the wires? Let's see. How did the organization of the container go? The organization of the container went fairly well. It's still ongoing, but for those of you not caught up, I got here on Sunday night. Saturday night, my daughter had her makeshift little prom party at home, and it was fantastic. So Sunday, I was recovering from all the work that we were all doing. Mostly my wife. She's an incredible dynamo that every now and then you guys say, "Oh my God, Javi, you never stop. How hard you work." I got fierce competition. There is no way that I can hold a candle to the level of energy that not energy so much. I got more energy, but she's got more commitment and discipline. So she is always on. There is nothing that woman cannot do, and she's always doing something. And often past exertion. Oh, look at this. I just looked at these and they're not set. So there's another thing I got to do is squirrel. I have to make sure that the switches are all correct, because the last thing I need is these things incorrectly set. So anyway, getting back to the situation. So I was busy cleaning up afterwards. I was trying to have my wife do as little as possible, but she takes on a lot and I take my time. So sometimes that doesn't happen. I pretty much spent the next day packing. I packed the car, and I guess I was anxious or whatever I was tired. I strapped everything down, and I had a lot to carry because I had a lot of JaviBoxes and stuff. So I have those yellow and black crates that you guys know I have, and they're two crates high. The whole entire thing was the whole trunk was 2 crates high. Well, turns out that there was one on the back left end of the bed, and I lost it somewhere between Miami and here. Actually, somewhere between the midpoint, because I checked it at the midpoint, and then I checked it just at the plaza before here, the Canoe Creek Service Plaza, and it was gone. And I was so upset. That might have been the reason why I had my stomach upset, because Sunday night I was so angry. I didn't remember what was in what. It could have been the box with $700 worth of motors in it. It could have been the box with some of these completed Javi boxes. It could have been the box with my. I've got a laptop here. Well, guess what? It was the box with my tablet. It had $100 tablet, so I mean it's a big deal. And I lost 10 back pieces. They're for future boxes. These are all built, so no big deal. It's just wood. I'll make some more. I lost about half a dozen e-stops. So, I ordered some more. Some other minor things. And I remember now, because I was looking, where's my empty boxes? I had 2 empty boxes stacked underneath those 2 boxes. And guess what? They're gone. Yeah, so I lost all of that somewhere. I went and backtracked for an hour. Went back to the other plaza and slowly went my way up. So basically, I should have been here at 9 at night, and I got here at midnight. So it was rather than a 4-hour trip, it turned out to be a 9-hour trip, or close to it, 8 or 9 hours. I was exhausted, and then I ended up taking everything out because I was afraid it might rain. So I put it under the porch, looked through everything. So that brings us up to yesterday, where in the morning, the first thing I did, no, actually the day before yesterday, in the morning, the first thing I did was I just threw it. I looked real quickly through the boxes and saw that it wasn't, it could have been worse. And then so I brought all the boxes in, and still could be worse. Some of those things I randomly put in stuff. I don't know what all else I lost. Anyway, yesterday was I was cleaning out the trailer and the container. I was organizing it, so that's what I was doing between yesterday and today. And as you see, I've got all my boxes stacked up. I made a special black box for myself and one for Dave. It was a day that I happened to be using black lacquer outside, so I figured let me grab a couple of these and paint them black. I think it looks great, but that is certainly not something that I'm willing to do on a regular basis, because that's a lot of work. And it never looks nice. I mean, it looks okay, but wood looks just like wood looks natural. This stuff, if you want to do it right, you got to sand it. You got to, don't get me started on that. So all the pieces, luckily, got here. I'm pretty sure that I didn't lose. I may have lost 3 or 4 drivers. I still haven't looked through all the pieces, so it's possible. But I think I never had those drivers to begin with. So that's the answer to how'd the organization go. It was all that 11-layer lasagna. Yeah, it very well could have been. I mean, the day I had this, I was eating nothing but lasagna. I stopped eating it yesterday, or rather today. I haven't had any issue today. I still have some in the fridge, and yes, I'm going back to eating it because I'm hoping it was a passing thing and had nothing to do with if I start getting it again. And I am talking about, gastrointestinal, the runs. Then in that case, I will stop and throw away the lasagna. But you can't give up a good lasagna. Not for a chance that it might be bad. No. I don't believe in that. So that's it. Let's see here. Uh, yeah, Miguel, you and I are near 65. We're 10 years away from 65. And I don't know about you, but and I'm pretty sure I know about you. We're in pretty good, decent health. A little overweight, but decent health. So, a lot of people that died on of the 15% that died below the age of 65, um, it was all serious chronic conditions that they had, and immunotherapy and diabetic, and a lot of problems that susceptible to it. Not to mention, and here's a okay. I said I was going to last thing I was going to say, but this will be the last thing I'm going to say for tonight on that thing. I spoke to a nurse. I mentioned this last time. I spoke to a nurse. I'm not going to give her name, and I'm not going to give her what hospital she worked for, but she basically admitted that the hospital, any deaths that may or may not be COVID related, are deemed COVID related because the hospital gets more funding when it's COVID related. So guess what? Stuff that has I mean, it happened to my wife's cousin. She went to the hospital. She didn't die. She left. They actually tagged it as COVID. She didn't have COVID. So I mean, a lot of that is political. A lot of that is bureaucratic. It's garbage. All right. And yeah, Dave, Big D, fake news. Exactly correct. Okay, gotcha on the spindle cable, squirrel. Yeah, Clyde 74. Don't go out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot, you know, people have passed away. Oh, and get this fact from the governor in Florida. The people that died over 90 years old are more than the 15% under that died under 65. If you go, I mean, it's incredible, So basically, bottom line is it has to do with age. I mean, a lot of it has to do with age. A lot of it has to do with your health. I know quite a number of people that are, heck, my grandparents were 84, 85. They died. They all died in their 90s. When they were 84, 85, they were in better health than I am now. I mean, who's to say? But, and let's see. Yeah, and most are in nursing homes and things like that. I have a tonneau cover, Migs. I have a tonneau cover, but I don't want to put a big topper on because that's big and bulky and stuff. So what I ended up doing is the second I got here, I went on Amazon and I bought, and this is pretty cool. I have one of those bungee nets, and I was stupid. Yes, not on. I was also lazy not to put on. I was considering, after I had it all strapped in, that before I left, I was thinking of putting a tarp just to protect it from the rain in case it rained. Luckily, it didn't. I checked the weather, but I should have put the tarp on, but I would have had to take the straps off, put the tarp on, and then strap it all in. Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda, But once I got here, I bought, like I said, I have the bungee net that goes over that. That one, I didn't put it on, but I have it, and that works real well. But what I bought was a 6x8 net, similar to the bungee net, but it's all straps. It's got 4 rings on the corners, so you can cinch it down on the corners. But on every cross of the webbing, it's got a grommet, so I could actually clip it and pull it down in several places. Down, but excuse me, bungee it down or whatever. So I'm looking forward to when that comes in. It should come in a couple days or whatever, and for any future thing, because on the way back I'm bringing my trailer empty. So And it's an enclosed trailer, so nothing's flying out of there. Well, I may lose the trailer, God forbid, but so so I got that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some, for those of you electricians out there, the struts, I'm going to attach a car and put a bunch of eyelets. So in the future, because one thing that's always bothered me about that truck is that, oh boy, my connection is unstable. Please wait while I try reconnecting. Do you guys still hear me, or is my connection unstable? Yeah, for some reason or another, it said my connection was unstable, so to pause. Well, anyway, what I was saying is I'm going to get those struts. I'm going to attach eyelets to it because one thing that's always bothered me is I've only got the 4 rings down in the bottom. So anyway, there's that. I want to have easy access from near the top of the bed and all throughout, so I can just put straps wherever I want, or all over. Anyway, okay, so catch up here. I wondered why you didn't want on that Algerian prince with me. Boy. Crazy. Yeah. 65, fake news. Where am I? Oh, no worries. Squirrel 74. Canada nursing homes. Lock and cover. That's where I was. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to, catch up here. Big outbreak in county. I was just going to say that about the solder. When will I start the covered trailer build? Yeah, Palmetto Hospital's probably a good candidate for that. I wouldn't doubt it. But there are so many. That wasn't it, though. Hospital in the USA get X dollars for respiratory. Yep. The drivers are still on the slow boat from China. Yeah, those things take 2 to 3 months, Clyde. Just so you know, they when you order from China, it takes about 3 months. Let's see, 34,000 deaths from the flu, 4 months. Yeah. Okay, they can hear me. Ordered my steppers from Stepper Online. They came pretty quick. Yeah, via eBay. And we're caught up. So, yeah. Now, what I'm going to do is plug in this thing so I can adjust the very important that I adjust the power supply first, because nothing worse than putting a 36 volt power supply on a 12 volt fan. Can we say yeah, so alrighty. Make sure nothing's touching. And let's see what happens. There it is. Power's on. Where's my meter? There it is. Now for the fun part. Negative, positive. Screwdriver. 5 volts. Not for long. This is the short one. This has to be 24 volts. 23.7, 23.8, 23.9, 24 even. Very nice. Okay. So now we have our 24 volts here. This is the long wires. This has to be 12 volts. Come on, people. Give me something stable here. There we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11.24, 11.44, 11.50, 11.90, 96, 98, 12. All right. We have our proper voltages. Yeah. Yeah, it's me that's unstable, not the connection. Ugh. I've always known that. All righty. So now, let's put our, where's our, here it is, this thing. All right, long one. Those two. $9.18. Nice little, probably be on for a while longer. Let's see here. Negative, positive, oh joy. Ah. Well, yeah. Now comes the fun part, which is connecting this to the fans. And I say that a bit sarcastically because there's nothing fun about it. Because all the wires have to work together, et cetera, et cetera. Alrighty. Good night, Troy. Have a good one. Yeah, it's raining in Lady Lake tonight. It is indeed. It is indeed. So let me snip this off. Dump that. Snip this off. Dump that. And last but not least, snip. Hey, where's the other one of these? Oh, there it is. Okay, there's that one. And where did they go? Alrighty. Oh joy. So I went shopping today, as I often do when I'm hungry. It's nice to get back to a place that doesn't force you to wear a mask everywhere. It is quite annoying. Quite annoying. See, if it would serve any practical purpose, then I would say, ah, great, wonderful. But it has occurred to me, and it will pretty much. It seems to be common sense, and people will soon realize this after a while. But you know how common sense is. The idiots out there, it'll take them a lot longer to realize. I've been studying people wearing masks. Now, in Dade County, it's an ordinance, so you have to wear one. So the few times I did go out, I would wear one. But now, I've been watching the people wearing masks, and they're all doing this. I understand. Oh yeah, it prevents you from touching your face. Um, I'm building a CNC controller, the Javi box. So um, the masks are basically a cesspool of germs, is the way I see it, because these things are disgusting. Look, there's very few masks available, and some people buy one mask and they use the one mask um, over and over and over and over and over. And I'll tell you, it's just you know it gets a little frustrating because I'm looking at these people and I'm watching them wear this disgusting thing on their face that in 2 months a lot of these people have never bothered to clean the thing. So you know, disappear. The A CNC controller is a electronic device that will run the motors of a CNC. If you don't know what a CNC is, then you likely stumbled in the wrong group. Um, Computer numerical control. A printer is a CNC. A vinyl cutter is a CNC. A CNC router is a CNC. CNC laser is a CNC, obviously. There are a lot of different CNCs. Let's see here. And where's my other? There it is. The other wire. Figures. Should have stripped this earlier. It has nothing to do with MIDI, nothing to do with sound. It's It's a pure control device for connecting for running stepper motors. It controls 4 of these things. And that's what it does. Very simple. Very simple. Well, I guess it's very simple, but it's... I say that, and some people go, no, it's not. And I understand. I need more space. Of course, I've been saying that all along. Okay, power cord, where are you? Got the Weller soldering gun going here. And turn it on while I wait for it to heat up. I'll just sit back and chat with you guys. Hey, Frankie, how's it going? Good to see you. Alrighty. And let's see what we got here, guys. All right. Okay, got my motors and stepper online via Amazon. What are you building? I don't know. I'll Google it. Area, do you like? Let's see here. Sorry, folks. I'm answering a question here online that someone asked me. Let's see here. Frankie, been staying off the streams and quit looking at things. Can't afford right now. Not looking at... Yep, haven't looked at my wife in days. Did I CNC the case for the arcade? Yes, I did and I didn't. I CNC'd the 2 sides and and where all the buttons go, and the rest of them were all rectangles. So I used the table saw, the right tool for the right job, as they say, and so that's what I did there. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. Hey, what's going on here? Oh, great. Why isn't this working? Because it wasn't. This has got the funkiest plug on the Weller. Should only take a few seconds to warm up, but anyway. So let's grab my almost out of soldering thing. Curl it around here. Ooh, yeah. So yes, I CNC'd the case for the arcade. I was very happy about that. And disappear. Yeah, no, it's not a digital audio workstation or anything of that sort. It is has nothing to do with that. It is a mechanical, well, an electronic digital controller for mechanical devices. It uses pulses to step to control a stepper motor. So, for those of you who don't know how a stepper motor works, let me fill you guys in. Um, Let us begin with a quick lesson in electromagnets. Um, I don't know how many of you as a kid have played with electromagnets, but if you wrap a wire around, say, a bolt, a metal rod, and you put power, DC power, to that wire, that bolt will turn into a magnet. One side will be north, one side will be south. If you switch the wires, the poles switch. One side will be north, one side will be south. Now imagine if you have, you know how magnets work, where one side is together, one side is opposites attract, like polarity repels. So if by any chance you put two of these wonderful little things together, these two bolts, if I got a north side with a south side, the bolts are going to attract. If I've got a south side with a south side and a south side, they're going to repel. Okay. That being said, imagine, if you will, a motor. Say, I don't know, I'll use this fan just for kicks. All right. So imagine now that the motor itself, that the blades of the fan, which would be called the stator inside in most armature motors, imagine that the blades of the fan are positive and negative magnets. One's positive, tipped, one's negative. One's positive, one's negative. One's positive, one's negative, and so on. And they're even, obviously. So then now you have, imagine, if you will, you have a pole here that's either positive or negative. I mean, it's either north or south. And then one here, and one here, and one here, and one here, and one here. They are 1 point in our particular motors. They are 1.8 degrees of separation. So that means there are 20 coils. If I did I didn't do my math right. Hang on a second. That is incorrect. 360 divided by 1.8. 200. I knew there was something wrong with my math. I missed a digit. Okay, so 200 little tiny coils. It's a little more complicated than that. There's really 50 of them. Okay? So there are 50 coils. They are each oppositely connected. There's an A coil and then a B coil. Then there's the A and there's the B. And then the A and then the B. So you have, imagine that little magnet that I told you. Let's say this is an A bolt, magnet. You have A plus and A minus. So you can make the tip negative, you can make the tip north, or you can make the tip south. The next one is B. You can make it north or south. Then A, B, A, B, A, B. Okay. So now you got that part. So if I were to put a coil here and these two are in between, and then I'd say make this opposite of this, it will go whoop and it'll move there. Now I say make this the same as this, and the next coil make it opposite, then whoop, it'll go there. So now what you've done is you've created a step and you've moved this fin from one coil to the next coil. That would be 3.6 degrees, because remember, each coil is 50 of them. That would be 7.2 degrees. Let me make sure that number's correct. 360 divided by 50. 7.2 degrees. And I don't mean to get a little complicated, and I hope I'm not losing anybody, but for those of you still following, so now each of those coils are separated by 7.2 degrees. Well, when you do from one coil to another, an A coil to an A coil, when you go from one to another, it's 3.6 degrees. Now, guess what? The coils and the number of fins are offset. There are less or more fins than there are coils. So it actually works out that every second fin matches up. So I don't know if you could follow me on this one, but let's say this is an A and it's attached to this. If I reverse the polarity, it's not going to be in line. This one down here is going to be a B coil attracted to this one. Then I'll reverse the polarity again, and this B coil will now be attracted to this fin. And then I reverse it again, and then this fin will be attracted to the A coil. Bottom line is you're constantly switching voltages, and it's basically going to be 4 steps to do from this is A positive negative, B positive negative, A negative positive, B negative positive. And in switching those 4 modes, you'll have the coiling 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 steps of 1.8 degrees, which will complete the 7.2 degrees from 1A, where that fin will be in line with that A, all the way to the next A. Okay, I don't know if you understood any of that, but that is how a stepper motor works. It works by pulses or steps. There are 4. This driver converts digital information of direction and pulse into the A and B coils, power to the A and B coil. So right here, you've got the 36 volts. That's the power it needs to push those AB coils. You have the A coil and you have the B coil. It will decide which polarity and which one. So it'll go boom, 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 boom. It'll keep switching polarity and pulsing each coil. Okay. On this side, on the side of the low voltage side, this is the side that goes to the controller. The controller, through the computer, will send the following signals to the driver. The controller will send the positive signal. It could be negative. It depends on which way you wire it. The positive signal, and then it will send a negative pulse every time it wants to move the motor one step, and it will send a positive or a negative direction as to which way to move the step. So this is a very, very, as complicated as it looks, it's a very simple device. It receives pulses, two types of pulses. It receives, hey, move the motor one step, and hey, move it this way or move it that way. And then this side will produce the right amount of polarity to move it either one step this way or one step this way. And that is how a stepper motor will move. And there is always power. Once these things are on, there's always power to those coils. So it will be locked in place at a particular, if there is no pulses, it will be locked in one position. When it tells it to move, it'll move here and it'll stay here, and that is how a stepper motor works. That is how all your printers work. A printer, basically, the reason why it can do such fine work is because it's not a regular, put 12 volts to a starter motor and it just spins. No, this thing is controlled by steps. And that is your lesson on stepper motors. I hope you guys have enjoyed that simplistic, and I hope it wasn't too hard to follow. It works better when you have animation, but, I'm not making animation. I am, however, soldering the next thing. All right, so here we go. I've got the 3 fan switches here soldered. I'll double check now because I always double check, make sure okay, that one is in the middle. Sure enough, I miswired one. Make that 2. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the talk on, okay, that one's okay. The talk on that one is okay. That one is incorrect. Hate it when that happens. How's the RV? Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's comfortable. I don't know how much you could say about an RV. I mean, it's. I haven't taken it anywhere. It hasn't moved in. Well, I can't say it hasn't moved in 2 years. I moved it from one location here to another, and so there is that. But yeah, it's. Sorry if I'm talking in half sentences. That's what happens to a guy's brain when he's trying to work on something, 2 things at once. Yeah, RV's good. It's in good condition. It's just hasn't been. I use it every time I come up here, but I haven't driven it anywhere. It's basically my home away from home here, and which is a great thing. The girls should be coming up next week. Well, no, my wife and one of my kids, because we hate Miami. That's the short version. But the other version, the other way of looking at it is, you cannot get a driver's license in Miami. You can't get anybody on the phone in Miami because of this dumb, stupid, fake news situation created by the media of this COVID crap. So my wife made an appointment for my daughter to get her license up here, and so we're looking forward to that. Make sure that's there. Make sure that's there. Make sure that's there. Good. All three are correct. And it's heat shrink time. Yeah, because Miami sucks. Yes, we do. Yes, we do indeed. All right. Where are my heat shrinks? These are perfect. No, she's probably driving my wife's car. I mean, the older one has a car already, and she bought it with her money. And then no, we spoil our children as much as we can, but while teaching them the value of money. Because sad to say, I didn't learn it until later in life. So I could have been completely retired by now. But no. Okay, this is a problem. But it always is. Where is my... Okay, must be around here somewhere. There it is. Pair of pliers. No, she hasn't gotten a car. She's going to be using my wife's for a while, and then because she doesn't really need to go anywhere other than or yeah, I mean, then there, and my wife is probably going to use her mom's car. So I mean, you know how it goes. Okay, there we go. Nice and neat. Come on. There we go. Speaking of there you go, we saw the what's that movie called again? The Greek wedding the other day. Big fat Greek wedding. It's just absolutely hilarious. Saw 1 and 2. Got them at home, and I enjoy them every time I see them. Why you want to leave me? And the Windex, and the whole thing is hilarious. I'm telling you, anyone who hasn't seen that movie is just missing out, big time. Okay, now that that's there, of course I don't have. I should have had my light on this whole time, and of course I didn't. Oh, that's much nicer. Well, it's almost 10. I think I'll stop at 10, but feel free to ask questions until then, guys. If you have any questions to ask, I may even stop later. All right. righty. Heat shrink, heat shrink. There you are. Negative, and now positive. And secure that down. All right, so hopefully if everything goes well, yes, I need this one too. Never enough hours in the day, as they say. Okay, so I'll stop after I connect this. Okay. We got our 24-volt supply here. Let's see if we can route it properly. There it is. 2 screws, and all I got left is the wiring of the controller. But now I'll check the motors. Actually, nah. I'm not going to check the motors now. I'm just going to wire the controller. Maybe I'll do it now. Maybe I'll do it later. One controller. Ta-da! Alrighty. Doesn't smell like anything. Okay. Well, I am. Yeah, Dave. I'm just gonna. I'm stopping here. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and And thank you all very much for watching. I'll just retire at this juncture because the others, funny enough, the others I've already wired to the plugs and to the controller board, but I hadn't done this one yet. And that takes a lot more than the hour and a half that I usually give myself here. So good night, everyone. And you guys have a wonderful evening. And for those of you that want, I'll see you guys again on Friday. Have a wonderful day. And Friday, we'll see if I might, I don't know, I'll be soldering something. Hopefully, I'll have a little, maybe I'll have a fireplace video for you guys. So that'll be entertaining. I guess more than watching me solder. Maybe, maybe not. Good night, guys. And have questions for me, of any type. Ask me to tell you a story of, I don't know, pick a topic and I'll find a story for you. 54 years, I got lots of stories. Good night, guys.